Let's bring in once again Ali Vaez, who's in Geneva. He's the director of the Iran project at the International Crisis Group. But Ali, we're into the third week of this war. Washington says that its strikes have severely degraded Iran's military capabilities. Yet Iran is, as anyone who lives in the Gulf is aware, still launching missile and drone attacks and threatening shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Who's got the upper hand right now?
Well, from the Iranian perspective, this is a game of endurance. They don't need to score big wins. They don't need to defeat the United States and Israel. In fact, they cannot. They are outgunned. But they can outlast U.S. and Israel, especially by taking the global economy hostage and by putting pressure on the Strait of Hormuz and the Gulf economies. And in that objective, they seem to be succeeding. You can see that President Trump is sounding exceedingly desperate and is escalating. But the longer this goes on, I think it's only going to be costlier and riskier for both sides without necessarily bringing any of the parties closer to their objectives.
Ali, the U.S. strike on Kharg Island marks the first time that the conflict has directly targeted Iran's oil export hub. I mean, how significant is that escalation, and what are we to make of Iran's response?
Well, it's a very important signaling exercise because the U.S. is saying that it is willing to go up the escalation ladder and eventually maybe even target Iranian energy infrastructure. The problem is that the Iranians still have the capacity to retaliate in kind and go after energy infrastructure in the rest of the region, especially in the Gulf states. That, Adrian, is going to push the price of oil above $200 a barrel. It would result in a global economic meltdown. It will have severe political consequences for President Trump in an election year. So although, again, the threat is quite significant, implementing it on the ground is going to have severe consequences for all.
So we're entering a phase of this conflict where perhaps energy infrastructure is the central battlefield. Is that right?
Well, it's not clear. It might also be that the U.S. would consider some sort of a big win in order to then justify ending this conflict. For instance, there are all these speculations about the possibility of the U.S. putting special forces on the ground to try to retrieve the missing stockpile of highly enriched uranium in Iran. President Trump has threatened to send amphibious forces maybe to take over some of the Persian Gulf islands, or maybe even potentially the shoreline of Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. He might try to kill Mojtaba Khamenei, the new supreme leader, in order to again justify that he's been able to decapitate the political system effectively and then pull the plug on this conflict. But again, even in all of those cases, I don't think neither the U.S. nor Iran would be able to gain the upper hand. So the sooner to get to a ceasefire, the better for all.
Always good to talk to you, Ali. Many thanks indeed for being with us.